So how many apps on your phone home screen are made by the same company? Yeah, go check it. For me, it's worse than I thought. In a world where technically we have the most choice we've ever had, they somehow managed to make sure that we only buy products from their company, from inside the ecosystem. So how the hell did they do it? How did this ecosystem actually work? But also, now that we are all into one tech ecosystem or another, tech companies in a very least stumbled upon something much bigger. A next step to this whole ecosystem game. And it's not just about selling you another device or another subscription, it's something much more powerful. And because of this, choosing the wrong ecosystem might actually be a bigger mistake than you think. But to understand that, we first have to understand how they tricked us in the first place. This is the original iPod. When it came out in 2001, it looked like this, and the competition looked like this. It could hold 1,000 songs. Its competitors? 8 to 30. An incredible product, a smash hit, but not at the beginning. See, the iPod was originally only available for Macs. Steve Jobs was obsessed with this idea that it should connect seamlessly to your computer. And when they finally relented and released iTunes for Windows, they sold 4.4 million iPods the year after. It turns out that if you make your great product available only to a small amount of people with Macs, it's not gonna sell well. And if you make it open and compatible with everything, everyone buys it. Incredible, right? But if you think about it, today we are seeing the exact opposite. The new Samsung Galaxy Ring only works with Galaxy phones. Not Android phones, just Samsung Galaxy phones. AirPods are the best-selling earbuds in the world, and yeah, in theory you can use them as regular Bluetooth headphones. But in reality, they basically only work with iPhone. If you have them connected to anything else, you cannot even use noise cancelling. AirTags? Same thing. Any ecosystem begins with only one device. You want to have one product that's as easy to pick up as possible by the most amount of people, and that's significantly better than anything else on the market. This was Gmail for Google. When Gmail was launched, the other email providers were offering 2 to 4 megabytes of space. Gmail, 1 gigabyte for free. And it was the only one that grouped emails into threads and had a nice UI. It was a no-brainer to choose Gmail. For Apple, of course, it was the iPhone. To this day, despite selling all sorts of devices and gadgets and subscriptions, Apple spends almost $1 billion on marketing every year. And a great part of this is still just for the iPhone. Because they know that once you get the first product in, then most of the work is done. Because they know that eventually you'll slowly, one by one, get all the other products in the ecosystem. And for this, they'll just need to use the one constant truth in tech, which is that by default, technology never works. This is New York in 1911. Cars were brand new, and at the beginning, it was a mess. There were people driving on the left, on the right, there was no way to know who was presidents, animals on the roads, no license plates, but we solved this. We solved this with a standard. We have decided that we shall all drive on the right, except the UK that felt like the alternative teenager and dragged along some other countries with it. Well, this is exactly what happens with any technology. Eventually, you want to connect multiple devices, share data and files, and everything is a mess until you invent a standard, a way to make everything work with everything. Bluetooth, CDs, Wi-Fi, USB-C, Blu-ray, this is amazing. We can all get on the same standard and everything will work, right? So you want to connect your new display to your computer. We have decided that everything is USB-C now. So I can just take my 4K monitor, plug it in, and oh, it doesn't work. Let me try another cable. And now it works, but it's only 1080p and not 4K. So you start Googling and you find out that you need a DisplayPort 1.2 cable. And if the screen is 144 Hz, now you need a DisplayPort 1.4 cable or Thunderbolt 3 or USB 4 cable. Want to charge your USB-C laptop with your USB-C charger? Well, that depends on how many watts can the cable handle. And what was supposed to be the universal standard is a mess of protocols with intuitive names like USB 3.2 Gen 2x2. By definition, open standards need to work with everything. But because of this, over time they became more and more complex, to the point where to the average person, it's back to being a mess. This is how connecting to a new car via Bluetooth never seems to work, or how in a world with 3D dinosaurs in your living room, it's still a miracle if you're able to print anything. And this is the genius move behind ecosystems. Companies realize that they can one-up open standards by building something closed, but that just works like magic. We have more choice than ever for features, price, design, colors, but in the end, you're gonna get one product. The one where it just works. Sure, there's Bluetooth earbuds, open standard, but how about with AirPods you get instant pairing with this nice pop-up? It just works. Have an iPhone? Look all you want. In the end, you're gonna get an Apple Watch. But hey, you can choose between black and slightly less black. Do you use Gmail and you need to store files? You can look all you want. You know you're gonna use Google Drive. Are you one of the 5 people that uses Samsung Notes? Well, now you can get a Samsung fridge to take them on for some reason. And as soon as you step out of the ecosystem, that's when the magic breaks. But the genius behind ecosystems is that they don't force you. If I have a PlayStation, they force me to buy a PlayStation game. If I have an espresso machine, they force me to buy an espresso pods. But with ecosystems, they artificially kill choice by making their product the only logical choice in the end, but still giving you the impression that you can choose whatever you want. So one by one, anytime you had to choose a new device, a new app, you choose the one that just works, until most of the tech you use is made by the same 1 or 2 companies. And once companies figured out just how OP and powerful ecosystems are, they went all in. And yeah, they made billions in the process. Look at this. This is my MacBook Pro. If I want to listen to music, I can technically choose whatever app I want. But take a look at what happens when I hit the play key and nothing is playing. It opens Apple Music by default, even though I don't use Apple Music, and there's no way to change this. When I get my Windows laptop, I already have a folder on my sidebar for Microsoft OneDrive, even though I never used it. When I upload an attachment to Gmail, if it's too big, it automatically gets uploaded to Google Drive. It's all about creating as many linking points between different pieces of the ecosystem, tying each part with the others as much as possible. One of the main levers that companies use to do this is default bias. We tend to stick to the default option, so that's why Apple sticks all their apps in the dock when you buy a new Mac, hoping that you would just use the defaults. Or why Samsung populates their home screen with Samsung apps when you buy a new Galaxy phone. And once you get going, the only strategy that makes sense really is expand the ecosystem. Apple started with phones and earbuds and now sells you music streaming and TV. Google started with mail and maps and software, and now they're making phones and earbuds. And since this worked so well, every single company executive is like, we should create our own ecosystem, even though it's not always a good idea. Amazon keeps trying. There's Alexa earbuds and Alexa robots. And did you know that they even have a photo storage service? Oh, and let's not forget the time that they created that disaster of a phone, very correctly named Fire Phone. You could argue Samsung has built a decent ecosystem, but recently they are basically just straight up copying Apple. I mean, come on. Even the president of Samsung itself scolded the mobile division for just ripping off Apple. But regardless of which ecosystem you're choosing, most people still struggle to keep up when days get busy and they have to jump from multiple calendars to do apps, notes, and even something as simple as planning your day seems like a super complex task. Well, Akiflow, the sponsor of this video, is the solution to keep your life organized in one place. I can take a task and block some time for it. Like this. Here's an email I need to block some time for, automatically appearing here, and I can plan my days so easily. We are drowned in all different tools and productivity apps, and they all make sense in their own right. But what if there's a place where all of these come together to help you shape your day and your week and make your life easier? Well, that's exactly what Akiflow is. And you don't have to say no to all the other apps you already use. With the Command K bar, I can create tasks and do everything with natural language. No need to mess with different settings and toggles and changing dates. You can just type naturally, and Akiflow will place all your events and all your to-dos in the right place. Akiflow is truly the final boss of productivity apps, because you don't have to choose between one app or the other. Akiflow truly integrates with everything. You can try Akiflow today with a link in the description. And if you want to learn more, you can even book a one-on-one call with the Akiflow team. Again, link in the description. But let's get back to the video, because now this is just a starting point for something bigger. This is a file I just downloaded from Google, which is the main ecosystem that I use. And it contains all the data that Google has about me. And I mean everything. All the files, maps, location, YouTube history, everything is in here. There are even the individual recordings from every single time I called my Google Home to turn on a light. Hey Google, turn on living room light. And it's 127 gigabytes. You can download these from basically all major tech companies. Because once you're inside the ecosystem, each piece of it starts collecting little nuggets of data about you. When you go somewhere with maps, when you create a new note where you list out all your OnlyFans subscriptions, or the photos you upload to Google on the cloud, or the hundreds of emails you get every single week, the biometrics from your ring and watch, your calendar, your messages, they all pile up. And today, ecosystems are great at one thing, letting you access all of these from anywhere. If I write a note on my phone, it's gonna show up on my computer. I can take a photo and immediately go edit it on my tablet. Ecosystems are great at creating this magical world where all your stuff is available from everywhere. It just works. But even though you can access your data anywhere, no ecosystem has really been able to do much with it. This is Google Now, released in 2012. This is what eventually turned into Google Assistant. And I was blown away when it launched. It could tell you things like the ideal time where you should leave to work, considering traffic, combining info from different apps to proactively give you useful insights with these cards. This was so incredibly useful, combining data from different apps contextually. It truly felt like magic. And it didn't work. Because as it turns out, combining unstructured data from very different sources and apps is incredibly hard. Computers have always been amazing specialists. Massive Excel sheet to calculate? No problem. Organizing photos and thousands of documents? Got it. Rendering millions of 3D triangles every second? Piece of cake. We've had AI for decades, but it's also been hyper-specialized. Detect cats in photos. Learn how to play chess. Serve me ads of scammy crypto gurus. All very specific individual things. My ecosystem probably knows more about me than anyone else. It has all my messages, my location, my documents, my notes, my emails, but these are just siloed inside one app or the other. Well, until now. Large language models might not know how many R's are in the word strawberry yet.
How many R's in the word strawberry?
There are 2 R's in the word strawberry.
But what they can do is process data from different sources and combine it. And this is bigger than you think. Apple realized this, Google realized it. This is why they rushed to build the new Apple Intelligence or Google's Gemini assistant. But these are only a first part of the puzzle. They realized that finally, ecosystems can be more than just having to buy another device or another subscription, because they can sell you actual live enhancements. It's 2028, and you get a notification on your iPhone 19, which looks suspiciously similar to the iPhone 15. Since you already have an Apple Watch and the new Apple Ring, you can get the Siri Health Life Enhancement. You have enough Apple devices for them to combine all the tracking data and provide you with proactive alerts for major diseases like diabetes, heart failure, hypertension, sleep apnea, and even more complex diagnoses, all clinically tested with 99% accuracy. All of this for just $89. Would you buy it? The next day, you get a prompt on Gmail. It says that you spent 115 hours last year typing out emails. But now you can get the Gemini Work Life Enhancement that crafts draft email responses to all your work emails. And they are so good that on average, 94% of times, people don't even edit what Google suggests, saving you 115 hours a year. All of this for $129. Would you buy it? Today, it's all about what a new device can do. How many megapixels, how many sensors, how good the screen is. But Apple Intelligence and Gemini are already starting to go in a different direction, actually wanting to improve specific areas of your life. If you get a smartwatch, but at the end of the day, the only thing you can do is just download all the sensor data in a spreadsheet, this has very little value to you. You would never buy this. What you want is to close your rings, see the nice charts, or get the recommendations. We don't buy products. We buy benefit, how we think something is gonna improve our life. There have been countless products that try to sell you on this idea of enhancing your life with a personal assistant, but we all know how it ended. And the reason these failed is that they simply didn't have any data about you in the first place. And tech ecosystems are in a very unique position because they're basically the only ones that can offer you actual life enhancements because they already know me. 127 gigabytes of me. And finally, today's successful products are peaking. Most of our tech went from a revolutionary update every year to more and more incremental ones. Smartphones are the biggest example. Even apps and subscriptions, sure, they get improved, they get a better UI, better UX, but there are only so many ways you can improve them. So the next product an ecosystem can offer, and they are the only ones that can really offer this, is actual life improvement. And same as today, not by forcing you to choose the ecosystem, but making it a stupid choice not to. If I join the ecosystem, I save 115 hours on writing emails. I get better overall health. And interestingly, this also means something else. Today, if you're not fully in this or that ecosystem, it's a small inconvenience, but it's not a big deal. I myself use Android and a Mac. But if being part of the ecosystem makes it so that you are significantly more productive, your life is significantly improved. This also means that those that are not in the ecosystem, or that are not in the right ecosystem, are now at a disadvantage. And come on, do you want to be at a disadvantage? Then you should buy the phone. But as it turns out, you may be at a disadvantage already. Every day you go on the internet and companies are using psychology principles and tricks to manipulate you. For example, to make you spend more. And the way to outsmart them is by learning all of these. And you can do it in this video right here. I'm Enrico, and I'll see you in the next one.